Somebody once said, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. Don't ask me who. So I'm going to tell you my story and my experience with this. Replace everything I'm saying that's I and me, and maybe think of it in terms of you and yours. Thinking about my music and my career, I know that I need to stop thinking in terms of working really hard on creating a single song, trying to get everyone to hear it, listen to it, click on it, funnel people to it, and build up a lot of hype about this thing. I want you to think, I need me to think more in terms of making a marketing plan. When thinking about my own marketing plan, I am doing things like defining my brand. Like, I'm literally going to write down some notes on what I represent and what my brand represents. Things like defining your audience. Who are they? Where do they hang out? What kind of things do they like? What other types of music do they listen to? How diverse are they? What do they not like? That's a very important part of it. I am going to write down and describe my messaging, how I purposefully interact and talk to people when interacting, especially as the brand. I'm also going to write down and describe my aesthetic. This could be visual, it's references that I use, and do the same. What are your visual moods, and what kind of things are you referencing and alluding to? What kind of mood are you setting as a brand? So in this series that I'm calling The Launch, I'm inviting you to join me as I plan and prepare and get ready to release and roll out this album that I'm working on. And I drip out all of the singles over an extended amount of time. So as I drip out each of the singles, I'm going to test out different various methods and then make adjustments based on the results that I have. And then hopefully I'm going to learn something and then repeat the cycle all over again. Hopefully I'm going to actually gain some momentum along the way. My plan is to have a very slow yet very consistent rollout where once I start releasing, I am releasing singles pretty much around every 6 weeks. So I have 13. So we're talking about, it's going to take some time. It's going to be a year and a half or so. So please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. You can be learning from all these mistakes that I'm making, and I think it's going to be very relevant for you seeing exactly how somebody's doing this starting from zero, and we could just grow this together. A couple main ideas and a couple main concepts that I want to consider when thinking about my own music marketing strategy. It's that my listeners and my followers need many more touch points than just my music to interact with me. Just constantly trying to push people towards your projects, your songs, and your singles is pretty much a waste of time. It kind of seems a little bit shallow for us to constantly be just saying, hey, I got something new, come look at it. And something else that I'm constantly thinking and evaluating is a concept called reverse engineering. This idea is basically starting from the end goal and working backwards to see how you obtain that thing. Things I am looking at to do this is finding a few artists or even brands that I vibe with and seeing what their process looks like in reverse, seeing what strategies, methods, and tactics that they used. And I'm going to be using a hybrid mix of visuals and cues to address and interact with my own audience. And I want to interject a very important statement right here. When thinking about your own music marketing, I want you to remember this is very important. In my eyes, this is extremely important. I don't think everybody plays by these rules, but in my eyes, it's extremely important to always be true to yourself. Speak and listen to your truth. Be 100% genuine with people that you're interacting with, and think about the long game. That if you're being yourself and you're speaking your truth, that it's always going to end up in an eventual win for you. So let's keep that in mind. So if this music thing is a thing that you want to pursue for a long time, then take your time. Really consider who you are. Like, go deep. Like, really write out what your values are, what your art means to you, what you represent, because you're going to be representing this brand that you make, and the brand's going to be representing you. So be aligned. I don't think enough music marketers talk about this, but there's two major concepts to frame things in when thinking about music marketing. There's strategies and there's tactics. Strategies are basically goals that we're setting for our brand or for our music. Tactics are basically the actions that we're taking or the methods that we are using. So here I got a list of 7 strategies that I'm using for my brand. These are just examples. Feel free to just copy and paste them on something you're writing out if they align with what you're thinking. I have 7 strategies here, and then I follow it up with 7 tactics. The number one strategy, the number one tactic aligns with it. So keep in mind, strategy equals goal, tactic equals action. Number one strategy goal is define or strengthen your definition of your fan base or avatar. Strategy goal number 2, nurture new and existing fans. Strategy and goal number 3 is engage with people on social media. Strategy and goal number 4 is build a community around your music or art or project. Strategy goal number 5, outreaching to platforms and pitching yourself or pitching your music or pitching your project. Strategy and goal number 6 is collaboration with other musicians and artists and creatives in general. It doesn't have to be somebody that creates music. This could be a collaboration with a visual artist or a videographer or anybody that can help you on some steps that you really just don't know how to do that work. Strategy goal number 7 is email marketing and collecting emails and being consistent and engaging with people on your list. So the number one tactic or method on this list is to research social media, your own personal metrics if you have any kind of business account, or you can just kind of look at your interactions with people on social media and see what's working for you if you do not have a business account. Research artists that you sound like and see what kind of things are working for them on social media. And we can also do some research in Spotify. When you go to an artist page, see this section that's titled Fans Also Like. You can start researching other artists and what's working for them on social media. And these artists should basically just be relevant to your genre or kind of a neighboring genre that's really close to music that you're making. The number 2 tactic or method is create fun and engaging content, not centered around your music, but the music can sometimes be playing in the background, maybe real low, where it's not the main focus of the content, but it's there. And you kind of leave the door open for people to ask about it or just enjoy it. Making highly shareable content, which this is something I'm going to be researching myself more in depth as to what makes content shareable. Share small pieces of yourself over time with people that follow you. Give them little tidbits and insights about what makes you tick and things that you care about, stuff like that. Number 3, tactic and method. This is to include like a rotating wheel of content. So all your stuff's not looking the same. You're just not doing the same style of video all the time or posting the same style of pictures, but that you have a rotating wheel of content. And how I am personally thinking about this is that I got to split into 4 parts for me personally. 1, quarter of my content is going to be some sort of call to action. In other words, pointing people towards the things we want them to go to, whether it's your website, your latest song, your YouTube page, stuff like that, a call to action. And remember, this is just 25% of the time. Another 25% of the time is going to be things like performance videos, or it could even be educational videos or other style, just fun videos that you're putting out. And my thought is that if I only put out 1 or 2 performances a week, that you can do, being that social media doesn't show all your stuff to everybody all the time, you can do 3 versions of every video that you make. In other words, it could basically be the same video. Maybe you edit it just slightly differently, but most importantly, the thumbnail or the start screen needs to be different for all 3 versions of that one video. And then you have 3 unique pieces of content. 25% of my content is going to be pictures or even videos that are about my location, basically, where I live, outings that I go on, events that I go to, just kind of general location-based content. It could be beautiful or ugly, pictures of things that you're going to see, things that you're experiencing, stuff like that. And the last 25% are going to be basically completely text-based posts. These can be things like inspirational sayings or quotes. They could be your own personal quotes. They could be just insightful facts, or however you want to do it. And some of these, for me personally, I'm going to make and edit and keep a file of my own branded pictures of me and things that represent my brand. And I'm going to edit them real nice and just keep them in a folder and use them for text overlay posts that I'm going to be doing. So I will just have them stored away in a file, and I can make a bunch of these all at one time and get them on my posting schedule. So tactic and method number 4 is to just be genuine with your audience. Ask them lots of questions. Listen and listen some more. It's really important, especially nowadays where everybody's just constantly talking about themselves. Just listen to your people. Listen and give them the time of day. Hear them. Be sure to, on places that you can, like if you have a Facebook page or something like that, be sure to set the tone. Kind of be an example for what's acceptable or what's preferred behavior and interactions. And remember, just be true to yourself. I mean, anyone that's been willing to give you the time of day, man, give them the time of day. Take the time to listen. Okay, tactic and method number 5 is research and reach out to various places like influencers, blogs, YouTubers, playlists, different platforms, radio stations, magazines, and even brands when you feel comfortable enough. They don't have to be huge brands. You can find small little brands that you align with. And I'm going to be doing some research on this end myself. My thought is that once I get the ball rolling and I have a little bit of momentum going, it'll be a bit easier to actually reach out to some brands that, maybe we can do some reviews or product placements of things that are relevant. Tactic and method number 6 is to find other musicians and artists to collaborate with. It's understood that it can be very powerful to mix your fan base with somebody else's fan base. Their fans, a certain portion of them will become your fans. A certain portion of your fans will become their fans, especially if y'all are promoting one another, not only on the project that you work together, but if you just kind of promote each other kind of generally and just show your fans that you're supporting one another, I think it kind of really helps build community. Last but not least, tactic and method number 7 is to be consistent with building and communicating with your email list, to give away a lot of value and a lot of information. And don't be trying to constantly sell. Like, you want to sell sometimes because we're trying to make a business here, and we definitely would like to get beyond breaking even. We want to actually make a profit at some point. But it's important that you don't come off like all these other people constantly trying to sell everything to everybody. Like, be you, be a real human, give a lot of value to everybody, and they will be more willing to jump on board with you when you are trying to sell something. So I know as a musician or an artist, it's real easy to just want to focus on making the music, creating the art. But it's important that we actually take the time to make a plan, to actually write it down so we can visualize and see the steps that we need to be taking daily, weekly, monthly to make slow, consistent progress. And that word right there, consistent. If we make our plan and we're executing on it, it's going to help us actually be more consistent. And over time, we're going to make momentum. We're going to slowly or maybe even rapidly increase our fan base and increase our reach and increase our reach, and everything we're wanting to do will get a little bit easier as we go. And feel free to leave a comment and let me know if you need any help kind of arranging your own plan. And if there's any kind of way I can help you think about it and frame it, just leave a comment below and let me know. Hmm. I plan on, yeah, let's do that over. Oh, God, last son of a bitch. Okay. So as I drip out each of the singles, God dang, I'm going to get this right. Test, learn, adjust, repeat. Test, learn, adjust, repeat. Okay, so I don't think the number one tactic or method is research. God dang it, did I not turn that off? The number two tactic, what the hell's a tactic? But it's important that we actually take a time, take a time